Let's do 3 Oms and Sahanavata Guru Sutra. Sahana bhavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Saha viryam karabhavahai, Tejasvina vadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Kristotram. Akhanda mandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darsitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Savaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yatkim Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. So we are doing Kathopanishad, chapter 1, Valli 2, and we are almost close to the last sloka. But before that, describing the nature of this reality, Yamadharmaraja provides, there are the Samanya Chaitanyam, which is all-pervading Chaitanyam, which is present everywhere, and the Vishesha Chaitanyam, which is due to the reflection of that Samanya Chaitanyam wherever there is a subtle body. So the subtle body provides a medium for reflection of that which is all-pervading light, and the reflection and the reflected, the consciousness is dominated because it is as though centralized or crystallized wherever there is a subtle body, and depending upon the nature of the subtle body or the purity of the subtle body, the reflection occurs. And therefore, even though it is everywhere, yet it is localized also. So depending upon what perspective you can talk of, from the Samanya Chaitanyam, it is everywhere. From the Vishesha Chaitanyam, it is moving wherever the subtle body is moving. So it is finite, localized, and which is what one considers as a Jiva, and other one is Paramatma. So we have a Paramatma, which is Samanya Chaitanyam, which is everywhere, and a Jivatma, which is localized based on the subtle body. And the subtle body is a reflection of the the total consciousness, and this total consciousness being everywhere, whereas the reflection depends upon the reflecting medium, and the reflecting medium itself shines due to the presence of the total consciousness. So the shining, or the subtle body becoming a conscious entity, is due to the reflection only. And this there is no problem up to that point. But if I don't know that I am the total consciousness, and looking at the mirror into the, so because I cannot see my face, I need a mirror. When I look into the mirror and see my image, and I take image itself as I am, then there is a problem. As long as I answered this is only a reflection and I am the original guy, then there is a knowledge. But whereas if I consider the reflection medium because it's a dominant one, in this case, and it goes around saying that I am so and so, because I am identifying with the reflecting medium as that, because without the medium there is no reflection. In a similar way, if you assume that a moon is becoming a bright in the sky, and the brightness is coming from the sun but not from the moon, because moon by itself is not a luminous body. But suppose moon takes itself that I am the moon and I am the bright sky in the bright object in the, or luminous object in the sky, then there is a problem. And that's exactly what our problem is. Not it's a moon problem, it's our problem, because we are taking ourselves a conscious entity, and conscious entity but localized entity. At the same time, we are taking ourselves inert entity also. It's a confusion, because I am a conscious entity. At the same time, I say I am this. With this, this is an object, is an inert entity. Therefore, is an internal confusion, and confusion comes because of lack of understanding, clear understanding that I cannot be an object. I am a subject, I am a conscious entity, I cannot be inert entity. This includes body, mind and intellect to start with. So here he says, Asino duram rajati sayano yati sarvataha kastam madam devam madanyo gyatum arhati. Therefore, either it's sitting one place, is traveling all over. So how can that be possible? From the point of Samanya Chaitanya, it is all over. At the same time, from the point of local entity, he is sitting on one place or moving at different places too. And Sayano, in the deep sleep state, it is their pure existence, but Yati Sarvataha, whereas in the case of reflected consciousness, he is moving all over, from India to America, America to back to India, also on and so forth. All travels is happening at the Vishesha Chaitanya. Samanya Chaitanya cannot travel because it's all over the place. So confusion is, I had to give up I had to give up identification with the body, mind, intellect as I am the body, mind, intellect, and own myself or own up myself. I am pure consciousness that is all pervading, using the body, mind, and intellect. That's where the confusion is. I had to use the body, mind, intellect to recognize I am not the body, mind, intellect. And that is where the problem is. That's what J. Krishnamurti says. I have to use the mind to uncondition the mind. So, who is unconditioning? Mind only has to uncondition. How? He doesn't say how, because you cannot ask how, but Vedanta will tell you how. By Chage Naike, by giving up your wrong notions, you have to do it. So that means I have to understand the nature of this reality more clearly. So from Brahman point, we have degrees of understanding. From Brahman point, it is all pervading consciousness. That's called a Paramarthika Satyam. In the Paramarthika Satyam, there is none of things all there. No Jnani, no Ajnanis, none of this. It is pure Satchidananda Swarupa. Now, when I say there is a creation, I already have come down a different level, where I as a identify myself with as a jiva and looking at the world, and it says this is a creation. Since I didn't create it, neither my grandfather created it, somebody else has created, and the one who has created has to be a sarvagnya. Sarvagnya means he should know how to create. He should have a know-how of how to create the whole universe with all the laws that are discovered or yet to be discovered. Therefore, that is Ishvaraha. And next question is, how did Ishvara create? Why did he create? All those questions come. Therefore, Vedanta says he himself became many. So don't ask any more questions, because you are the one who created all this. So he yourself became many. So I am that which is all pervading consciousness, myself became many. Why did you become many? That's why did you become many? So yeah, you have to answer the question, why did you become many? So therefore, it is anirvachaniyam here. You cannot explain all these things, because you are asking a question, why, how, when, wherefore, or what for, and all this when and all those things. All these questions get dissolved if you understand I am pure Satchidananda Swarupam. So this has to be understood clearly. So once I accept the creation, the next question is when this creation started. How did it start? When this created? When did the Big Bang occur? You know, the question is, even science also asks, when did the Big Bang occur? Where did it occur? When Big Bang occurred cannot be answered, because the question itself is invalid, even in science, because when is a question of time, and from the science point, time started with the Big Bang only. Okay? No? So when the Big Bang occurred, so from the point of the after the bang only you can talk about time, and where it occurred everywhere, but there is no space. Space everywhere is also concept of space, but it occurred everywhere, wherever who is an inquirer is asking. That's where it occurred. So Vedanta says same thing. Wherever the creation started, wherever the inquirer is, because he is the one who created the problem. So therefore, the same problem can be understood from the point of the science also. So you cannot ask. So having discussed this aspect of nature of that, Yamadharmaraja emphasizes what you need is a complete commitment in order to see this clearly. So those who are still running around in the world and have low priority for Vedanta classes, and they cannot understand, therefore, na virato duscharitat, so na shanto na samahitaha, those who cannot concentrate, whose minds are agitated, and no shanta manasaha, they essentially, the mind is not free from all anxieties, and they cannot understand. Only prajnanena evam apnuyat. So only the one who are dedicated to this knowledge will be able to recognize, otherwise they cannot do it. So therefore, there is a mumukshutvam is required, a strong desire for liberation. So I want Vedanta, but I also want the other one. So sorry. Ananyas chintayanto mayojana paryupasa. No other thought other than me. So Krishna also emphasizes that he is very jealous God. He don't want to think anything other than me, because that commitment to that is essential for the mind to concentrate. Why he doesn't want to doesn't concentrate on that, and why he wants other thing else? I want other things only because I want to be happy, and other things bring happiness. So there is a misunderstanding in the process that there is happiness out there other than myself. That's why I am going after other things also. I want that, plus I want this also. Means I have not understood Vedanta. Whenever I am going for two things, prioritize, I need that also, I need this also, and that means essentially I have not understood that also there is no use of that, because there is no happiness there. What I am looking for is only happiness. But I have an obligation. Yes, if you think you have an obligation, then you have to do it. Because if you don't do it, you will not be able to concentrate in the Vedanta class, because you will be thinking about that only, because your mind is worried about that. So you have to finish. That's why niyatam kuru. the advice for Arjuna is, you do your obligatory duties first, finish it up. But when he advises the Uddhava, he says he has done, you have done enough, you can go now. You go to Himalayas and contemplate on this. So advice to Uddhava is different from advice to Arjuna. Arjuna is still want to fight for justice, so he has to do it. So with that emphasis on the need for mumukshutvam, a commitment for this is an essential aspect of this Brahma Vidya, and only those who have that will be gaining this knowledge. Now in the last sloka, little bit funny sloka, of this Valli, that is 25. We'll see what the sloka says, then we'll see what it means. Yasya Brahma cha kshatram cha, Yasya Brahma cha kshatram cha, Ubhe bhavata odanaha, mrutyurasyopachesanam, my God, my nose. Sechanam, yeah. Mrutyurasyopachesanam. Itya Veda yatra saha. Itta Veda yatra saha. There is a do in the other one it says Itta Veda. Itta Veda yatra saha. Okay. So this sloka, if you look at the word meaning, it looks funny. Yasya says, Yasya for which, says Ubhe, that is both, Brahma, Brahma is here Brahmana, Cha Kshatram, Kshatram is Kshatriya, Cha Ubhe, those two, Bhavata Odanam, they become food. In other words, the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas become food. So yet to whom this Brahmins and Kshatriyas have become food. Mrutyuhu, this is the death is, say upasechanam, Mrutyu upasechanam. So upasechanam is side dish or like a pickle for odanam. Mrutyuhu. So death becomes a pickle for it. So kaha iti, kaha itta, itta is in this way, kaha who knows this in this way, yatra saha in relation to this what we have been pointing out, then he alone can know, otherwise people cannot know. So whoever knows that Brahmins and Kshatriyas become food for him and the Mrityu is a pickle, then for him he understands correctly. So what does it mean? So here Shankaracharya comes to our rescue and explain this properly. So he says, this is a sloka, says most of the time who is God? Paramatma. Paramatma is Sushti, the Jagat Karta Ishvaraha. That's what we define. He is a creator. But he has other roles also. He is a creator, he is a sustainer, and he is annihilator also. So nobody talks about annihilation process. So here is a sloka antavod. Not only he is a creator and he is the sustainer, and then he is annihilator. So this is Janma, Srishti, Janma Sthiti and Laya. So Laya is also here, Laya aspect is of that Ishvara is emphasized, the Pralaya and Laya aspect. Means the whole creation goes back into him. That is the one, Ishvara. Not only he created, himself became a creation, but into him the whole thing goes back, and that who can understand it, that alone is the one who is Brahman. So we have to understand that. So whole now, what is the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas doing here? Brahmanas and Kshatriyas represent the dharma. Dharma is, the Brahmanas are the ones who maintain Dharma, and Kshatriyas who protect the Dharma. So these are the two or specific examples are given because the whole universe is sustained by Dharma. Dharma means the laws essentially is sustained by, and therefore since they become essentially, Odana means it is swallowed. The whole creation is swallowed by him. Odana means it is a food, means the whole universe is swallowed by him, to whom it goes back into him. Says in the sloka, it says, Kale Jagat Bhatshaka. Kala means the time eats everything. Right? Any problem, even the whole one day the sun is going to go, right? So, Kale Jagat Bhatshaka, when the sun is gone, the whole planetary system is also gone. So, the time will eat away. Every sorrow will be, you may be so sorrowful, but slowly, it gets lot and you get out of it. So, something like that. So, time will take care of all the problems. What all the problems we thought 5 years ago or 10 years ago, all those problems have no significance now. If you look back and say, why I was unnecessarily worried, at that time it is so important. If I don't catch train in time, and now I'm so worried and all that. Trains gone, everybody. There used to be Kare Rajulu Rajyamun Geluvare Vareri Sirimuta Katukani Poiri Poga Naune or Poniture. It's in Bhagavatam, I think it's somewhere. In Telugu, says the teaching to the Dharmaraja, he's worried about, he's crying for people who are dying. He says, how many kings have come, kings have died, kings have ruled, and then they thought they're going to live forever. They are not gone, and everybody is going to go. What are you crying unnecessarily for? So this is a teaching. So therefore, time, what we think is so important problem, thousands of years ago, same problems were there. They were also worried about their kids and what is going to happen, who is going to happen. All the same problems. They have gone, generations have gone, and generation gone. We think we are gone, and now I just came from a shower, baby shower. Their problems are coming, and new generation. All this goes on and on and on and on and on. So, if you stand apart and look at this drama, then you can enjoy the beauty of it. Because you are a witnessing consciousness. People come and people go. You don't go. People come and people go. So that's why that yasya brahma cha kshatrancha ubhe bhavata odanaha, for both everything is whole universe become a food for him, and mrityu itself is a side dish. Now mrityu is itself is concept of time. So even that, because everything else is within the creation, but even time is also goes into him. That means it is beyond the time itself. This happens every day for us. When we go to deep sleep state, you swallow everything. All Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, everybody you swallow, because everything you swallow into yourself, and including time also. Because in the deep sleep state, in the laya, there is no space, there is no time, there is no Brahmanas, there is no Kshatriyas, there is no bosses, there is nobody is there, right? And you are comfortably, happily sleeping because you don't want to get up. When you get up, all the problems come again. So therefore, this understanding that even the time is gone, and that who understand that which is beyond the time can only understand the reality of this truth. But I am there. Odana means it's a food for somebody. Somebody has to eat that food, right? He is beyond the time and beyond this space and creation itself, and that has to be understood, and that is the real truth. Yamadharmaraj is iti Kathopanishadi prathamadhyaye dvitiya valli. So with that we have completed Kathopanishad, first chapter, second section. Now entering third valli. So in this Kathopanishad has two adhyayas. Each adhyaya has 3 vallis. This is how the total is. So we are entering the third valli of this chapter. In this, basic teaching was over, as we discussed. That's why I took 2 classes in this on the slokas of 18 to up to 22nd, the teaching was there. And in this, he is going to talk about jnana sadhanam. That means how to gain that knowledge. So, path towards the knowledge, and also discusses jnanam, the knowledge itself, and jnana phalam, the results of the gaining understanding. So, what do I gain out of knowing it? That's what we should know. So, what is the practical implication of this? You will get the jnana phalam. That's why every upasana there is always palasuddhi there. Okay, even Vishnu Sahasranama, you will get a lot of palasuddhi is there described. But if you do as a nishkama, without any pala, without the desire for it, only from Sriman Narayana Prityartham Aham Idam Karishye. So when you do that, then even if you make mistake, there is no problem. You will get palam. What is the palam? Chitta Suddhi, purification of the mind. Okay. So you don't need to read the Palasuddhi if you are doing for the sake of purification of the mind. Okay. Now in this chapter, there is an example of the Ratham, and the chariot example is given here, and that's will be understood as we go along. And let's see. Before we go to the first mantra, the what we mentioned in that is going to be continuous. In this, it starts with Jivatma and Paramatma. Two aspects of it are being discussed continuously. So, what is Jivatma and what is Paramatma? We should have clear understanding. All-pervading consciousness is Satchidananda Swarupam. In that, there are no distinctions of any kind. Sajati, Vijati, Swagata, Vedas are not there. That is the all-pervading. And from that point, no creation also. Brahman, from the point, there is no creation. Why? Because Brahman being infinite, creation involves a modification, and therefore you cannot have Brahman undergoing modification. So, if at all there is a creation, that's not really real creation. Apparent creation he can do, because it's only appearance. To whom it appears, not from Brahman. For the one who is appearing, it is appearing only. So, appearance is only from the Jiva's point. So, that's one. And then who is Jiva? Is there an individual soul and a collective soul? In fact, we have think, there is one light comes in every movie, there is a light going out into space and suddenly disappearing. Is there a light or light going into the Lord and then becoming one with the Lord? All these things we see because we need to have some vision. But what is Jiva? Jiva is true, it is light, because we are talking about light of consciousness, but that, as I already gave introduction, that it is Samanya Chaitanyam is reflected by the subtle body as the Visesha Chaitanya. So that is one, is Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa means reflected consciousness, because of which all-pervading consciousness getting reflected by the reflecting medium. Reflecting medium is the subtle body. So, if there is no subtle body, then what happens? Then there is no reflection of the consciousness. Then what is there? It's there only pure existence alone is there in that form. Only reflecting the existence part, not the light part, not the conscious part. So, conscious part cannot be expressed out from that. It gets absorbed, maybe like black body radiation, black body, everything is absorbed, nothing comes out. In the same way, when there is no subtle body, there is no reflection of the consciousness. So, who is a Jiva? Jiva is that reflecting consciousness, Chidabhasa, first aspect. And this Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness, taking itself, I am the real consciousness. You follow? There is no problem with the reflection. Reflection will occur as long as the mind is there. Subtle body is there, reflection will be there. As long as the mirror is there and I am there, there will be image is there. There is no problem in having image. As long as the mirror is there, there will be image. But the problem comes if the image thinks itself, I am the original guy. Then there is a problem. Now, why does he think like that? That's a good question. Why are you thinking like that? You are not a Brahman? That's a question that we cannot answer, because say I am only Jiva, that's what you will tell. So the question becomes a Chidabhasa, a reflected consciousness, not knowing that the consciousness is not coming from the reflection, it is the original light of consciousness. I am the original light getting reflected here. Take myself, I am this mind, because that's all I can see. Therefore, I am the subtle body as I am, and this subtle body is located in the gross body. Therefore, that ripple down to I am this gross body, not that gross body. So, this is how the Jiva notion that I am a Jiva, it's a notion, I am a Jiva, comes where? Comes in the Chidabhasa, not in the pure consciousness. So, who is having a problem? Where is the ignorance? You have to be, who has the ignorance? Who has the ignorance? Now, if you look at the hierarchy, total consciousness getting reflected in the local equipment takes itself, the consciousness now, takes itself, I am the local guy. Why? Because I don't know I am the total guy. So, local guy in this body, mind and intellect enclosed has the avidya. Who is a local guy? Same as the total guy. Total consciousness only. So depending upon what reference you say, who has the avidya? Is Brahman has avidya? Jiva has avidya. How do you answer it? First answer, Brahman has avidya, because there is nothing other than Brahman. Right? If there is something other than Brahman, then how can it be? So Brahman has avidya. Oh, how can Brahman have avidya? Brahman cannot have anything. So Brahman doesn't have avidya. Then where is it? There is no avidya, period. If at all there is an avidya, then Brahman has avidya. That's the first answer. Because avidya, in the Brahman you cannot have avidya. If you further question, say, how can this be this ridiculous thing? You say, okay, who is confused here? Not Brahman. Confusion is occurring at the Jiva level and saying that I am a Jiva and not pure Sachidananda Swarupam. So avidya is, from it say avidya, then it comes at where I have a notion. Avidya is a notion where I take myself, I am this body, mind and intellect, because I don't know who I am. Who says? A Jiva is saying. Brahman doesn't say this. Right? So Jiva has avidya. What is from Brahman point? Brahman point, there is nothing. No questions asked. Yato vaso nivartante aprabhya manasa saha. All the mind and everything comes back. Then if you go to next level, Ishvara, just now we talk about Ishvara, who is a creator and all that. At what level, who has, what is his state? He says he is a creator. And if he is there and is a creator, how does he create? Says, Maya adhyachena prakritihi suyate saracharam, under my this one everything is put, this is my Maya. So his becomes a Shakti, it becomes a Maya at the total level. Same Maya at the individual level we call it as avidya. Because ignorance is a problem for projection also. So if you look at from the avidya point, there are two things that are involved. One is called avarana shakti, another is called vikshepa shakti. These are the two elements are involved in the process. Avarana shakti means ignorance covers the knowledge. That's our theories. Every time it is ignorance, knowledge is always there, but ignorance is covering it. Therefore, we do not know. So what do we have to do to know? Remove the cover. That's all we need to do. Because if there is something covering it, we have to remove the cover, then knowledge will be self-existing, already there. There is nothing else you do. So if I remove the cover, remove the ignorance, then knowledge gets revealed. So how do you remove the ignorance cover? By a pramana. By a means of knowledge is required to remove the cover. So that means I discover, right? Discovering means removing the cover. And when I discover, I say, oh, I discovered this. What? Gravitational force or this law or that law. So all scientists claim they are discovering. It means they are removing the covers. So in the removing a covers can only be done by a pramana, a means of knowledge. The pramana depends upon what are you discovering, right? So that means if I want to see, then I had to open my eyes and see. So I had to use a pramana, means of seeing, to discover what is there in front of me. If I had to hear, I had to use a different pramana, not seeing. I had to use the hearing pramana in order for me to hear what is there in the other happening in the other side of the door. I cannot see them, but I can hear what they are talking about. So that I had to use an appropriate means of knowledge to discover the particular field of knowledge. For self-knowledge, what kind of pramana I need? I need to use appropriate pramana to discover. Because ignorance is there, I don't know who I am. Because that's why I am taking myself what I am not as I am. Therefore, I have to discover myself. How? Through a pramana only, because pramana removes the ignorance. So ignorance is there about that. Therefore, I need a pramana to discover myself. What is a pramana? Vedanta is a pramana. So how can Vedanta be pramana? It is a pramana to remove only the ignorance part, because the self is self-existing here also. It means when I understand who I am, and when I negate who I am not in the process, then in that I understand I am, and that I am is aprameyam also I understand. That means it is not beyond any pramanas also. So Vedanta is a pramana using a words indicating that direction for me to inquire, so that by inquiry process as prescribed by the Vedanta, I discover myself as I am there. Not that I am going to be there before also I am there, but I do not know that I am that. So all this is introduction is to know that there is a Jivatma and there is a Paramatma. There are two aspects are involved. And that is going to be discussed in this. And the Paramatma and Jivatma aspects are two aspects, and this is what I mentioned in the Kathopanishad also. There are two birds sitting there. So Dvasaparna Sayuja is the same way is going to talk about two, and here we are going to reveal that. And the goal of a human being, Jivatma, is to find out who I am and what is this world. That I am pure Satchidananda. That is my ultimate goal. And what is causing a problem of not discovering it? Because I have taken myself, I am this notion out there. That means I am the body, I am the mind, and I am the intellect. And why I am taking? Because I don't know myself. And in the process of taking, I executed actions in the past. Because I am taking this, I am the body, mind, intellect, and I don't like the limitations of the body, mind, intellect. Therefore, I want to be infinite, because that's what my longing for. That's my natural instinct, that I want to be infinite because I am infinite. But when I am taking myself, I am a finite, and taking myself, body, mind, intellect, I want to solve that problem by becoming infinite. By what? By a process. But any process will not make me infinite, because processes are finite. Therefore, it's becoming to a problem, because when I perform an action with the notion that I am only individual, I have a notion that I am a karta. And therefore, there is a resulting actions, there is a bhokta. So, kartrutvam and bhoktrutvam come into picture, and that's how I accumulate the vasanas and all that. So, you know all the theory behind it. So here the sloka starts with that. That's why the whole introduction is. Let's do the sloka one. Rutam pibantau sukrutasya loke. Rutam pibantau sukrutasya loke. Guham pravishtau parame parardhe. Vishte Brahmi Pravardhe Chaya Tapo Brahma Vido Vadanti Tapo Brahma Vido Vidanti Panchagnayo Ye Cha Trinachiketaha This is Parardhe or Parardhe is there. Parardhe here. Yeah. In the other book it's Parardhe. Rutam pibanto sukrutasya loke guham pravishto parami parardhe chaya tapo brahma vido vadanti panchagnayo ye cha Nachiketaha. Three Nachiketaha. Nachiketaha. So Rutam pibanto. Here Rutam is here, normally Rutam means the truth, but here Rutam is karma phalam. That's what Shankara says. Why? Because Sukrutasya loke is therefore says this pibanto is a dual. In Sanskrit it's a dual. Therefore there are two people who are drinking here. So in the Mundaka, if you look at it, only one is drinking. But Dva Suvarna Savija Sakaya Samanam Rucham Parishasvajate Tayoranya Pippalam Sadvati Anashvanye Abhichakasiti. So one is drinking and other is watching. But here, in a general sense, both are drinking. What? Karma phalam. So the results of, so essentially it is only by indication that it is the Lord is also with you. In a way, although he is not really drinking, you are the one who is really suffering. Lord is what? Now you remember, I gave complete introduction. Lord is Samanya Chaitanyam. That means all-pervading consciousness is also undergoing with you. Because when the body undergoes, Samanya Chaitanyam is also as part of existence also. Existence in a different forms. Existence doesn't go any change, but forms are changing. So form also is expression of the existence in those forms changing. Because mind is changing, mind is happy, that is also exists. Mind is not happy, that unhappy mind is also exists. So the existence doesn't change, but the moods of the mind keep changing. So it's how you have to understand here. Rutam pibantau Sukrutasya loke. So there are two drinkers of this karma phalam. That means you are drinking the karma phala of these ones. Both are called enjoying due to association here. And guham pravishtau parame parardhe. So this, or where are they? This is their pravishtau loke. They are essentially entering into this body together to exhaust the karma phala of your actions that are done, or my actions are done, that have been done. That means due to one's actions. So Sukrutasya, the actions are pibanto. Guham, in the guha, guha means the cave of what? Cave pravishto parame parardhe. So they are established in the cave of the heart. That's what the Vedanta says. It is the heart. Where is that heart? It's not the physical heart. Heart is, I remember, I told you on this side of that, where the buddhi is supposed to be there, intellect is supposed to be according to Vedanta, and in that, the space, they have as though entered into it. Means identify. Entered into it means he's identifying, I am this. That's what is the. So that is the sanctum sanctorum is in the buddhi. In the cave in which there is a space of the buddhi in which these two are located. Who are the two located? Samanya Chaitanyam and Vishesha Chaitanya. Follow? They keep looking at Paramatma also. You can say Paramatma and Jivatma are located there. How? Chaya Tapau Brahma Vido Vadanti. And this is a statement. Who says that they are in this place? Brahmavidaha vadanti. Those who are wise people, Brahmavida means those who know the Vedanta, say that this is what. So even the Upanishad talks about, says this is not my knowledge, it is knowledge that is borrowed by the wise people. So Brahmavido vadanti, how? Chaya tapo. They are, one is the light, another is the shade. So these two are together, are there all the time. Panchagnayo ye Nachiketa. So this Brahmavido, so from the point of Brahmavida, the knowers of this, they understood clearly this Paramatma and Jivatma are together, whereas Chaya and Tapo. The indication is, one is the light, another is the Chaya, shadow. So the example here is, one is independent, another is dependent. That's what implication of it is. This shade depends upon the light. So without the light, there cannot be shade. Without the all-pervading consciousness, there is no reflection. But the reflection is occurring because of the all-pervading consciousness. And therefore, one is a dependent entity, another is independent entity. So this has to be understood here. And Brahmavidaha vadanti, those who know the truth. So we are two types of people are going to be classified. Remember in the second Valli, we started Shreyascha, Preyascha. There are two paths, Shreyo path and Preyas path, right? In the Preyas path are the people, Mandavido, the people who are dull-witted people take that path. What is the path? They want to yogatshema. They want to know how to acquire this, how to aggrandize. All these problems belong to this. I want this, I want that and that. Even if you offer something else, you can wait Vedanta, but I need this. So that is, the priorities are mixed up in that. That's called Preyas. Shreyas is, I want, yes, Shreyaschan, Bruhitan ve, Sishyastvevam, Sadhimam Tam Prapannam. Give me that Shreyas, which is ultimately good. Even if its path is difficult, that which is ultimately good, that is the one. So here in this Kathopanishad, we have only two paths. One is a Karmakandis, another is Jnanakandis. In general, the Karmakandis are once they want to do karma. And why do they want karma? They want to get benefits either in this life or in the next life. So here the Paramatmananda gives you this. The karma does either the three things. One is a better equipment, means better body, mind and intellect so that I can enjoy. Or better things in the world so that I can enjoy. So either you want improvement of yourself or improvement of things that you can enjoy, and improvement of, even though you are there in environment, the things are there to enjoy, even the environment has to be conducive. It means if I have everything and all that, millions of dollars are there, and if the bomb is going on next door everywhere all over the place, if you are in somewhere Israel or then you cannot enjoy, even though you may be rich and even though you have it. So all the karmas are classified either improving individual, either senses and the body so that you can enjoy, or improving the sense things that you can enjoy. You can have, in the higher lokas and beautiful things and all that you can enjoy. So things that you can enjoy, you can have, or the environment that you can interact, that also you can have. That is the essentially three. These are called karma kandis, and they are represented by panchagnayoho. So those who perform panchagnayaha, those is those who do the 5 agnis. And Shankara gives those 5 agnis, so I will just read those. I don't know what they are, but these are called karma kandis. So panchagni is garyapatya, say ahvaniya, say dakshinagni, shabhyaha, avasatya. These are the 5 you are supposed to be doing, 5 yajnas, agnis in the house, keeping it. And karmakandis, they know what they can. No karmakandis here, so we don't know what that means. But at least they perform those agnis regularly to gain what? To gain something either in this life or in the life after. That's all. These are panchagnayoho. Cha Trinachiketaha. The guys who perform 3 Nachiketa. We know what is Nachiketa now. Nachiketa is the homam, the agni that Yamadharmaraja taught to Nachiketa how to go and enjoy in higher lokas. And the one who performs that 3 times in his life, and he is going to enjoy the highest pleasures in life. And those are called karmakandis. And Brahmavidaha says, Guham pravishtau parame parardhe. Parame parardhe, in the supreme abode of this, in the highest one, and they want to know that one, so they are called jnanakandis, where the importance is given to Paramatma, which is essentially the tapo, the light that is coming, whereas the other people are giving importance to the chaya. Chaya means the shadow parts. To the reflected consciousness, the jiva is becoming important for the karma kandi. Because the whole karma is done by, says, with a sankalpa. I am so and so, born so and so, and in this place, in this locality, all the you specify. If you go to temple, he will tell you, America Khande, they will use different words, America Khande, all those things, and particular day, particular place, what is your nakshatram, your gotram, all that, so that they know whom to send the goodies. Otherwise, somebody else will get it. So you have to tell your address before you perform. That's called sankalpa. And why are you performing also, you have to tell. I am doing it for this sake, so that you get that result, not the other result that you don't want. So all this is prescribed in the karma kanda. So here the indication here, examples are given here. The panchagnayaha, trinachiketaha, those are means etc. Other karma kandis are all going in order to exhaust their karma and then get new karma or new better karma. So their path is towards the preyas, and this other path is towards the shreyas. So here he just give you general path. 2 paths are there, and these 2 paths are again specified. Why he is giving all that? He says once you know this general scenario, there are 2 paths, and this is what is happening in terms of one called the preyo path and the shreyo path, and now you are given equipments to go which path you want to go. So in the Ratha example is given the vehicle and description of the vehicle to take whatever the path, once you know where you are going and your goal is fixed. This is what is being described here in this Valli. Okay, sloka 2. Yaha seturijananam aksharam brahma yat param abhayam tritishatam param Nachiketam shakemahi. Together. Yaha seturijananam aksharam brahma yat param abhayam titishadam param Nachiketam shakemahi. So shakemahi means we know, essentially. So Nachiketam is the fire ritual that he has already described. So Yaha, whoever perform this, we know that he is going to bridge the gap or make a path towards direction where he wants to enjoy. So essentially, Nachiketa is giving an example here, one of the karma kanda that he has described, but the other karma kanda, all other karmas also being described in the karma kanda. So those who follow the karma kanda and keep on doing the rituals, one ritual after ritual, their path is fixed in that way, where they want to enjoy so and so. So that is one path. The second path is Aksharam Brahmayat Param Abhayam Tatishadam Param. So another path is Akshara Brahma, the one Brahman who is inexhaustible. Akshara means that which is indestructible, Brahman. Yat Param, that is as the supreme goal, is where Abhayam. Abhayam means there is no fear, but no Bhayam at all. So Bhayam means what? Bhayam comes whenever there is a second. Dvitiyardho bhayam bhavati. Udara mantaram kurute atatasya bhayam bhavati. I know where we studied. Yeah. So even a speck of difference will cause a problem. in the 11th chapter, remember, Arjuna saw Virata Purusha, right? Virata Purusha. But he was afraid. Even though he said, in the earlier sloka, in the 10th itself, I am the Arjuna also, he said. Pandavanam Arjunam Dhananjayaha, he says. But he is afraid because he could not see himself as the total life. He is only looking at as a separate from him. So any speck of difference causes a problem. And that's why we have no problem when we go to deep sleep state. Right? There is nobody else. So that proves that Advaita is a state where there will not be any problem. So, and that is Abhayam. Only problem is we don't know there. So why we don't know? The buddhi itself is folded. The one who need to know, the buddhi has folded there, therefore we don't know. Even though we are there as Satchidananda Swarupam, we don't know. Not only we don't know that we don't know also. Why? Even to know that we don't know, we need buddhi. So if I ask you, do you know Gaga Boo? So I don't know. Because I know intellectually that I don't know Gaga Boo. So to say that I don't know also, whether chemistry or astronomy, you need a buddhi to tell whether you know it or you don't know it. And even that I don't know. Only when I get up in the morning, I say I didn't know anything. I slept very well though. I was there, not knowing anything, I slept very well. But not knowing anything is also knowledge, some kind of knowledge. So can you go and see if there's anybody in the other room? So suppose you go there and see there's nobody there, right? And come back. What did you see? I didn't see anybody. So how can you not see anybody? If somebody is there, you can see, but how can you see absence of anybody? So this is a very pramana actually. This is called a pramana. Where say, is there a pot there? No, there is no pot. How do you know there is no pot? Well, you wanted to know whether the pot is there, but there is so many things also not there, right? Along with the pot, absence of the pot, so many other things. Gaga Boo also not there. But you tell me that there is no pot. Can you tell me there is no Gaga Boo there? So what is Gaga Boo? I don't know whether Gaga Boo there or not. You cannot tell me that whether Gaga Boo there or not, but you come and tell me there is no pot there. Why? I didn't see. So how can you see, if there is no pot, how can you not see or how can you see? This is knowledge of absence of something, but knowledge of absence of that which you know before. Follow that properly. I know pot is, but that pot attribute of an object is not there any in those objects there. Therefore, I report that pot is not there. But pot has to be somewhere. At least I should know some pot somewhere for me to say that pot is not here. For you to say Gaga Babu is not there, you should know Gaga Babu somewhere else. Then only you can say Gaga Babu is not there. If you don't know anything about Gaga Babu, you cannot tell me whether it's there or not. So you have to have prior knowledge of samskara of even to say it is not there. So when I say I am there but I didn't see anything of samskara has to be there before for me not to see anything there and have a knowledge in the morning that I slept very well also. So it's a very intricate logic involved in terms of deep sleep state. Who is a deep sleeper? I wrote a long time ago article when Swami Chinmayananda gave a camp in Houston. I went there, Mandukya Upanishad he was taking. And this was the question that was that time was. So I wrote an article on that. Anyway, it's in my book, coming book sometime. It will come. Anyway, Abhayam Titirshadam Param. So this Param Titirshadam, the ones who wants to go to the end of this param, this samsaram, that he wants to go to other side. Setu is here, is a path. So there are two paths. One is path that is taken by people who are performing Nachiketa yajnas and they want to go and enjoy in this life and next life and so on. That's one kind of path that is called prayers. And the other kind of path is Aksharam Brahma Yat Param, and that direction. And this is where Abhayam and Titishadam, that which is beyond any boundaries, and the end of that is Param, that is where Akshara Brahma is. This is the end of samsara. And this is Shakamahi. We know there are two paths, and that's what is the Pati Shreyascha Preyascha Manushya Metaha Tau Samparitcha Vinivakti Dhira Shreyo Hi Dhiro Bipreyaso Vrunite Preyo Mando Yogakshema Drunite. That came in this last Valli. So here up to this he has defined there is a Jivatma, Paramatma will come later, Jivatma, he has a two paths, Karma Kanda and a Jnana Kanda. Karma Kandis are the ones they want to gain something in this life or life after, and they go on in that direction, whereas the Jnana Kandi wants to evolve and reach a state of understanding which is Abhayam and Param and Aksharam Brahma. So this is the situation has been defined, a grand plan is given in terms of two. Now we're looking at the individual level, Jivatma, and example is from the Sloka 3 all the way up to Sloka 9 or something. We have a description of the Ratham, chariot analysis. Now there are 6 things that are to be understood in this chariot example. One is chariot. Nowadays you can use car or a plane or something else, but a vehicle to go from one place to other place. That is the common vehicle, moving vehicle. And the chariot have horses, right, to drag it. We now call it horsepower, but that is horses that drag the chariot. And chariot, horses, then we need to control the chariot, the horses, so they are called reins to control the movement of the horses. So we have reins, that is the third. And then we need somebody to drive those horses using the reins. So there is a driver, and there is an owner of that sitting in the back. So driver is only wherever the owner wants to take, okay, let's go here, let's go there, and all that. So driver is only taking wherever the owner wants to take, and the owner is the Jiva. It's called Chidabhasa is the driver. So this is we have one chariot, horses, reins, the driver, and Jiva, the owner. And the 6th one is the roads. What kind of roads we are laid out. And there are 5 horses. This is equipped, and those are 5 sensors. Okay. And the chariot is Shariram. The body itself is the chariot, because you are moving one place to other place. You came to this class, you will again go back somewhere else. So for each experiences, you are moving this chariot with these 5 senses driving you there. And what are the reins? The mind is the rein. Mind drives, says, I want to go, you go there, and all that. You may be here, the senses may be here, but the mind is somewhere else, then you cannot have knowledge. So mind is the one that dictates which one to go. And mind is determined by the driver, intellect. Intellect is the driver. And the driver should have a GPS system. Where is he going? Says, God provided system. GPS system is God provided system, where God provided is Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. This is a direct paths available. In a sense, he should be an informed a driver. He should know where to go. Particularly in India driving, we don't have road signs anywhere, and you can't see even the road names also. And if you ask somebody, he will give you directions, and he may not know the directions also. He is very happy to give directions without even knowing. Oh, you go this way, that way, you will reach it. But it may be opposite direction. So we need to have a driver who knows exactly where to go and how to go. Particularly there are one ways and all that, and round ways. Now in driving in Madras is a real problem, because they have flyovers and then they have one-way streets, and one-way takes all over the place. Other ways it's easier, but coming back you have to go all over the world. It's not the same way. So we need to have informed intellect. That's why he gave you before 2 slokas information, this path and the other path, Shreyo path and Jnana path. He already informed you what is the path and where the goals are. So we need informed. So information was already provided to the driver. And we need owner. Owner is the Jiva. So Jiva is the one who is having this. And roads are sense objects. Okay, with that introduction, let's start with the chariot analogy. Atmanam ratinam buddhi, Atmanam ratinam buddhi, Sariram ratamevatu, Sariram ratamevatu, Buddhim tu saradhim viddhi, Buddhim tu saradhim viddhi, Mana pragrahame vacha, Mana pragrahame vacha. Together, Atmanam rathinam buddhi, Sariram ratamevatu, Buddhim tu saradhim viddhi, Mana pragrahame vacha. So viddhi, know that Atmanam, this is here Atmanam is not pure self, it is a Chidabhasa, conditioned self, is who is the one who is really going, the owner of that chariot, is essentially the one who enjoys the karma palam. And Ratinam is the rider. Ratinam is the one who is the rider, who is the one who is the owner, who is going somewhere, wherever he wants to go, or the master. So first we have defined already who is the owner, Jiva. And Sariram, the body, Ratham Eva, the chariot is the one. So whenever I have to go to make sure that my car is in roadworthy, right? Otherwise, if car breaks down somewhere in the middle, we have a problem. So we have to make sure that Shariram is worthy for this journey. Whether it is a Karma Kanda or Jnana Kanda, Shariram has to be taken care. It doesn't mean that one should pamper the Shariram, but it should be correctly enough so that it can take me to the goal that I want. So most of our prayers are also make sure Stirairangaihi Shashtvagam Sastanobihi Yasema Devagitam Yadahu. So this is I want good limbs and all that to do the God's work. Devahitam Yadahu. So therefore I pray that the body, let the body be conducive enough for me to go beyond. Shaknoti haiva shodum praksharira vimokshanan kama krododbhavam vegam sayuktasya sukhi naraha. Shaknoti haiva shodum. As long as the energy is there, since you proceed with that, with the vegam, control the sense organs, the vegam and all that. But therefore, praksharira vimokshanat, before the body dies. So body is required for this journey. That's important. So one has to take care of the body. So all that what do you call, so-called tapas and all that, it should not be, austerities should not be make body ineffective. That's why Krishna says you have to do properly. So even what you have to eat properly, you have to exercise properly. All those things are essential to keep the body going so that I can realize this. That is the goal, not for enjoyment of other things also. So here, by pointing out that a vehicle should be a roadworthy, is essentially the Sariram has to be Ratham Eva. So because you are riding on that. Buddhim tu saradhim viddhi. So intellect has to be the saradhi, driver. So what is the intellect? Intellect is that which have a determinating factor, right? Buddhi. So negajyatenta karanam. I forgot the Vivek Sudamani. Nischayatmikam buddhi. That which is a determining fact. That which takes knowledge. Now, how does knowledge occur? There is between mind and intellect. The mind can go only in the field of known. I can only think of something I already know. That's where the mind can go. Intellect can jump into unknown, using the mind as a platform, go to the unknown and make that known. You follow? So that's why I get intellectual knowledge, understanding comes by going into the things that I didn't know before, but I know through the process, and it's the buddhi that has to learn. So it can expand to the areas where it doesn't know yet, but by proper means. You need to have a proper means, otherwise randomly you cannot go and learn. So a trained buddhi can learn a particular field that it wants to learn using a process of learning process, a learning pramana. So you follow? So buddhi has to use a means of knowledge to know something that it doesn't know. And here it is buddhi is as it is evolving either in this path or in that path, it has to learn as it proceeds. And in the process, whether it learned from the experience of others or from the knowledge of the textbooks, it is learning. At the same time, as it is going, it is confirming, yes, that is true, that is true, that is true. So in the Adhyatmika path also, this has to occur. That's why continuous study and vichara has to be done. Mananam has to be reflecting so that it is clearly understood, the path is clearly understood. That's why emphasis on the discussions of Vedanta is emphasized. That is from the beginning also. In olden days also, students, after the class is over, students used to discuss to make sure they understand the teaching. And the discussion is a part of the learning process here. So, only way buddhim is saradhi. Saradhi means he is taking the reins, which means that he should have clear understanding where he is going. That should be clear, not randomly. So if he doesn't know, you can gain the knowledge from other people and then proceed in that. Until you get some obstacle, then again you have to clarify with the teacher. That's what is happening. So that's why whole Gita is discussions. In fact, all our scriptures are all discussions only between the teacher and the student, where buddhi has to evolve in the process of learning. So, buddhim tu saradhim vidhi, manaha pragrahamevacha. So, manaha or the pragraham is the reins, the mind is the reins that are holding the horses. Horses will come later. So, the hierarchy is the driver has to use the reins to direct the horses. That is the correct procedure. Okay. Now, what's the procedure? That's what happens. The mind rights wants to go anywhere they want. If the horses can be going everywhere. Buddhi is saying, hey, don't go there, don't go there, don't go there. It's telling, but he has no control on the mind. Now, what happens to that chariot? It will go all over the place. Now, this example is given in emphasizing what we call arjavam. Arja means a coordinate movement is required. Straightforward. Arjam also straightforward. And amanitvam, vadam, bitvam, ahimsa, shanti, arjavam. Krishna also says arjavam is essential. Arjavam means you have to have a coherency of all the units, called teamwork, right? Everybody may be expert, but if they don't work as a team, then they have a problem. Nothing will happen. So, I think a simple example, like in an orchestra, the mridangist is great, and the violinist is great, and the singer is great, but everybody is going their own way, then it will not be any orchestra. So, for that to succeed, everybody has to be a coordinate teamwork, then only beautiful music comes out. And here, the problem is emphasized here, the mind. And who is a controller? Buddhi has to be controller. And where is the problem or from? We know, everybody knows what is right. What has to be done? Everybody knows what is right. If they don't know, most of the time through the experiences they will learn that this is what is right. Because when you get hurt, you know hurting is bad. And when somebody lies to you, they know lying is bad. When somebody steals your money, your property, then you know stealing is not right. But thief also knows Because thief also knows that stealing is bad, but he doesn't want other people to steal his property or his stolen property. But at the same time, he doesn't have value for it. So this is called a sin, when the mind and intellect knows, but the mind is not ready to follow. That divergence, Swamiji calls it, in fact, Ramayana defines as the divergence between the mind and intellect is this definition of a sin. Greater the divergence, greater the sin. Because the intellect knows, but the mind is not following. Because mind feel like doing it, even though it's not right thing to do. That's what it intellect means. Whenever I compromise my own value system, my value system is determined by my buddhi. But whenever I compromise my own value system, I commit a sin. You are punished by the sin. Not for the sin, punished by the sin. So, what is a sin? Sin comes when these two are diverged. How do they get diverged? What makes them diverge? Remember that guy? Where is the guy? That vasana, V comes in between. V comes between the mind and intellect. Because I like this, even though that's not right thing to do. The likes and dislikes propel the mind to take in a different path in spite of the intellect. So what should I do? Don't have likes and dislikes. So I already have. What do I do with them? So there are two ways to do it. Understand this intellectually and therefore apply intellect, strictly control the mind with an understanding. That's called sublimating the mind. It's difficult, even though intellect, because you have violated intellect so many times, intellect has become weak. I do not have the will. People say I don't have the will. Why? Because you made it weak. By whenever you compromise your intellect, intellect becomes weak at the expense of mind. I am the boss, mind will say. So whenever the mind overpowers the intellect, intellect becomes a subdued. So only ways to strengthen the mind is by proper education and proper discipline as required. And now, don't tell me all that I am in a situation where I don't know what to do. I cannot control my intellect. Mind is becoming powerful. Then the time is to bring help from higher. That's where the help of the Lord has to be done. Oh Lord, please help me. I don't know what to do. And whatever that comes at that time, if you consider that it is the Lord's wish, then it is done. Even though we don't know, the Lord is too busy to do all the wishes. But when you comes idea, because Lord is in you, remember, two people are there inside your heart. He is telling you to do that way. And whenever the Lord comes, normally Lord comes to help you, to provide you in the dharmic path. Whenever you think of the Lord, dharma comes into picture along with him, because that's why wherever the Krishna is there, dharma is there. Wherever dharma is there, victory is there. This is what Bhishma tells to Duryodhana, I don't know, later. Because Duryodhana went and said, oh, I got that Arjuna was a stupid fellow. He selected Krishna, who doesn't even want to fight, and he doesn't even want to unnecessarily mouth what is use, and all the army against him who are ready to fight, I brought them. I'm so happy. He was all boasting himself. Says, you are a stupid. Arjuna made a right selection because he wanted Krishna, and wherever Krishna is, there is going to be dharma, and wherever dharma, there's going to be victory. You are going to lose. By strength you cannot, because once you invoke the grace of God, your mind gets tuned to that itself. So when I am in a situation, a binding situation where my mind is not under my control, at least think of the Lord and proceed. That's called, in fact, that becomes the Swadharma also. So Manaha, Pragrahamevacha, they are essentially the reins, the control. So the whole unit has to be the worthy for the journey. That's the whole emphasis of it is to be the horses, the body, the mind, the driver, everything has to be clear. Now we'll talk about horses. Indriyani hayanahuhu. Indriyani hayanahuhu. Vishayam ratheshu gocharan. Vishayam ratheshu gocharan. Atmendriya mano yuktam. Atmendriya mano yuktam. Bhoktetyahur manishinaha. Bhoktetyahur manishinaha. Together. Indriyani hayanahuhu. Vishayam ratheshu gocharam. Atmendriya mano yuktam. Bhoktetyahur manishinaha. So Indriyani, Indriyani is ahu is essentially hayanahu. Hayan is the horses. So Indriyas, the five Jnanendriyas are the horses for the chariot. Vishayam ratheshu gocharan. So Vishaya is the sense objects, says ratheshu gocharan. They are the gocharan, they are the respective roads. Here is very, Vishaya means particular respective, because each horse is specific, it can only run its own lane. So there are 5-lane highway. In the 5-lane, there are 5 senses, and each sense is going in their own lane. It cannot go into any lane. That means Shabda Sparsa Rupa Rasa Gandha. So each particular, I can only see, I cannot hear. So my lane is only seeing lane for the eyes. For the hearing, only hearing lane. So 5 essentially the gocharan, the roads are provided, or the vishayan, they are the objects. The object means indriya object. They are sense objects. Indriyani teshu. Atmi indriya mano yuktam bhokti chahur manishnaha. So here manishnaha means are the intellect, the discriminative intellect people. Says ahu atma indriya mano yuktam. Atma is a self. Indriya senses, manaha mind, yuktam all together. So self associated with my body, mind and intellect all together is bhokta. So he says bhokta is enjoyer. So therefore I am the one who is enjoyer. It is ahu manishnaha. The wise people say, therefore the total self, now you can see how the building, how the whole board has been constructed based on this somewhat similar idea. So there is the body, mind and intellect, and the vasanas are coming in, and Omkara, the total consciousness is there, but enlivening through the intellect, body, mind, and I am the perceiver, I am the feeler, I am the thinker. This is bhokta. Says I am the one who is enjoying this vishayan, particular irrespective objects of enjoyment. Through the body, objects, perceiver through objects, emotional thoughts and intellectual thoughts also are to be a thinker and a feeler. So that is bhoktaha, enjoyer, and that's the one as a jiva now. A jiva is being defined as pure consciousness reflecting through this as a chidabhasa and taking that as the bhokta. I am a doer and I am an enjoyer, and I am the one who is traveling and selecting the path, a shreyo path or preyo path, and that is becomes going life after life depending upon, so my transmigrating from one body to other body, because once this ratham is useless, I go to another ratham. So when I go to other ratham, I take all my ingredients, except the ratham is bad. So I take my sense organs and mind and all those things, I go and occupy a different ratham for going into different directions. So that is so with that, the whole thing has been defined, right? So in this, the sense objects are not the objects of what you see, it is the objects that I enjoy. one has to be careful here. When you say Vishayan is the sense objects that my senses are enjoying. So it is not the gross objects that I see, but the objects that I am enjoying with my senses directly. So it has to be understood in that way. Now, from Sloka 5 on, where are they? We are in 657. Okay, we'll just give introduction. So, from Sloka 5 on, he compares the two guys who are going in these two directions. One is Shreyopath and another is Preyopath. And this is what happens to this guy and what happens to that guy. So, what is required to go in this path? Because he already gave you two paths and he already gave you the directions. He already determined the equipments and all that. Now, one who is a Vijnanavan, the one who knows everything and then proceeds in that direction, what does he encounter? And the one who is a Vijnanavan does not know and does whatever way directions, because you see 99% are going in the wrong direction, only very few % are going in the right direction. Who says that? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhahe. Says there are thousands of people, only very few people are interested. Even though he might have advertised all over the place about Kathopanishad, very people are really interested. Not necessarily Katho, but because they are busy. Busy with what? Trying to get happiness. Where they cannot get happiness. Because happiness is not anywhere. So, but pursuit of that is going on, and that is what the problem here. So from here, from 5 to on, he is going to give you more details of each path of at least the one who is taking the paths. Let's do the Purnamada now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Stop.